Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Yeah.
BBN Jackfruits. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We got a lot to talk about. First thing I want to say is this. Open up the chat today. I usually just leave my chat closed because I just want to talk, and I love to interact with you guys. Believe me, I do. But often it seems like there's more distractions in the chat than there is conversation. So I want to have a conversation about what we're talking about. That's what I want the show to be about. And if we branch off into something else, then inside of that, not everything outside of that. With that being said, last night, State of the Union held Trump, America. Democrats embarrassed themselves. Now, I'm going to explain something, and I want this to be clear. Give me 1 second. Pardon me. I want to explain something, and I want it to be clear. I don't want there to be any kind of misinterpretation. Because often when I say something, for whatever the reason is, people just decide in their own brain what I really mean. It makes it just exhausting to even discuss things. It's just exhausting. With that being said, Trump said, basically, that if you believe that you're going to put the American people before illegal aliens, stand up. The Democrats did not stand up. Now, I don't see this as a reflection on the voter. And sometimes it's hard to say that. But I don't see this as a reflection on the voter. I'll explain real quick. Often what happens is we're a part of the Democratic Party, if you are. At one point, I was. So we're a part of the Democratic Party. And while we're a part of this party, there's things that we don't agree with and there's things that we do agree with. But it seems like the things that we do agree with, the only people fighting for those things are Democrats. So we vote Republican. We're voting in, our thinking, we're voting directly against our best interest. Because it doesn't seem like the Republicans are fighting for the things that we value in our communities. And this is how I felt, just so we can be clear. And even on things that they speak about now, I often feel the same way currently, just so we can be clear. So, once again, I am not a Republican. You understand? But I am a follower of Christ. And that supersedes everything. So with that being said, imagine having a politician that is a part of the government, that creates the laws. And for them to all agree that when they're doing their job, they're not doing their job for the benefit of the American people is insane. They're going to say we didn't stand because Trump. The Bible speaks about this. The Bible basically says You know, one of the reasons why we aren't supposed to hate people, you do know this, right? Like, you're gonna say, but what about Hitler's? Yeah, I hate everything I hate all evil acts. All acts of evil is hated. Do not get this confused. But we hate the act and not the person, because when we hate the person, then now we're acting against our own best interest and sometimes against the interest of the Most High, because our feelings for that person is so strong that it just supersedes all logic and reason. You know why they call ICE Nazis? Because once you start believing that, it's easier to do evil to them and feel no remorse. The Bible says that, yes, D-Game. The Bible says they will call bad good and good bad. I'm going to tell y'all, and I've been saying this since before Trump won the election, but I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen. The midterms are going to come. The elections are going to be unable to be rigged. And you're going to see just how unpopular the policies of the Democrats are. Because in my heart of hearts, I do believe that there's going to be a lot of people that are Democrats, but they're just going to have to vote Republican because they want better for their city. So I'm not saying people who's going to go switch reds. What I'm saying is there's going to be people who are Democrats who are just going to vote for Republicans because the Democrat that you have up there in the seat to get elected is going to be such a terrible choice. Now, I've been saying this for about, I don't know, as long as I probably had this page. I say since 2017, I've been saying, nope. Yep. Since about 2017, 2016, I've been saying this. The Democrats, not the voters, the machine, they prop up people who are not good for the party. So now, when you have people coming up, what happens is, I'm a Democrat. I want to get elected in this area, this county or whatever. But I need the local big dog to come and speak. So now I have to, because I have no choice. He's not gonna speak for me. I have to co-sign stuff that he's saying, whether I believe it or not. And that's what's happening. So there's a lot of potential Democratic candidates for many seats. But since they don't actually play the game and they're really here for the people, they keep getting overshadowed by individuals that want to play the game. And that's why this whole thing got to get broken. Because if it don't get broken, then we'll never be able to have a real Democratic Party. Because that party we have right now is full of communists and socialists. That's not the Democratic way. Historically, it's been the Democratic way. But that's not the image that they've been selling to us for the last 50 years. Is that fair? And in order for them to get back to that image that they've been selling to us, these Pelosi's gotta go. These Elon Omars gotta go. These Hakeem Jeffries gotta go. These Chuck Schumers gotta go. I'm not saying unalived. I want to be clear about this. I'm not part of the insane side that thinks that once you disagree with somebody's policies, then they need to go meet their maker. I'm not those guys. I'm just saying they need to. I'm just saying they need to not be in positions of authority over this country. They can run their own private company, any old shenanigans they want to run. It's their companies. But as far as for the United States of America, I don't believe that these individuals. I think that they contributed enough. They helped us enough. I think they need to go. So let's get back to the State of the Union. As always, his State of the Unions are great. You want to know why Trump's State of the Unions are great? Because the media never covers the stuff that Trump does. I'm going to say that again. Pay attention. The media never covers the things that Trump do. If you on social media and you not got all the liberals, all the conservatives blocked out, and all the conservative news networks blocked out, what you'll see is that they're finding thousands and hundreds of thousands of kids. And they've been finding these kids. Missing children. Some of them as young as like 14, pregnant. This is what's going on. This is what CNN ain't talking about. This is what ABC, NBC, CBS ain't talking about. But this is where you get your news. And if anybody gives you this information, you're going to say it's all lies. But if they say anything at all negative about Trump, you're going to be like, that gots to be it. God hates a hypocrite, fam. If you need undeniable proof one way, you need undeniable proof the other way. God hates a hypocrite. I want my people to reconsider their allegiance to the Democratic Party. And the reason being is, God says he loves kind words. We all fall victim of sometimes not speaking as kindly as we should. I guess sometimes I can even fall victim of not speaking when I should. Funny thing about me, I was going to say something, I'm not going to say it though, but we have to be mindful that the people that we vote for and their policies, we're binding ourselves to. I know a lot of people don't think voting is important. But when you vote for someone, you're helping to construct the nation, the laws, statutes, regulations, everything, how we're going to live, everything. You're telling God who you stand with. And I think it's insane to tell God that you're going to stand with some people that want to teach children to change their sexes and confuse babies. You want to tell God you stand with them because you hate Trump. And I think that's what people are missing. I think that is the part. I think people are not truly understanding what's going on right now in the time that we're living in. They're separating wheat from the chaff. The good from the evil. They're separating. Right now, the Most High is taking inventory of your fruits. What are your fruits? The Bible says that we're supposed to live by the laws of the nation that we live in. Imagine being a person who inhabits a nation and deciding that you're going to do everything against the laws of the nation, the actual laws of the nation, and say that those ain't real laws because you don't believe them. We have to be mindful of what we're doing. I know often it seems like I'm just getting all my people, but in reality, what it really is I want us, and I'm speaking to my people right now, black people specifically, I want us to recognize that we have to start moving different. Because black people, and this is just bad of us, is that we think being a warrior is the same thing like being a street nigga, and it ain't. So when it's time to be a warrior, black people turn into street niggas instead of warriors. And I've been victim of that myself. The Democrats have proven that they do not care for the American people. And as we have American people that's going to say, well, we hate America too. You don't get it. You're saying you hate the structure of America. The structure of America is saying they hate the people. I'm gonna say that again for the people that don't get it. I'm going to explain it the best way that I can. So I used to be a security guard for FJC. Shout out to FJCs. And it was a period of time I had some coworkers, they was trying to get me fired, but that didn't work. And instead I got promoted. That was bananas. Those guys were so bad. Oh, I feel bad for them. Gotta pray for those guys. Anyway, so some people was trying to get me fired, but instead I got a promotion. So when you get promoted to be a supervisor, you are not a part of the union anymore. Because you're management. So when management say that they hate the company, they're saying they hate the workers. And when the workers say that they hate the company, they're saying they hate management. So when your politicians are saying they hate America, they're saying they hate the people. But when the people say that they hate America, they're saying they hate the system. You are literally fighting for the people that you want to fight against. Yeah, I don't know how I got a promotion. That was dope, though. I had to do supervisor stuff. I couldn't play pool all day no more. That sucked. That absolutely sucked. But I did sleep for like 2 hours every day on shift. So hold on, I'm gonna tell this quick story. So I was working in Bellevue. So I used to sleep. They put me like on a night shift when I was a supervisor. So I used to go to sleep and take a nap like around like everybody like around 1 o'clock every night. And so I had all the combinations to like almost every room in the building. I had like all the combinations to every room in the building. So I go into the cafeteria that's locked. I go get me a little snack. I lock it back. And then I go into the laundry room because the laundry room had a VHS and a TV. And then I'll turn the TV on. I'll eat some snacks. And I'll take a nap for like an hour or two. The whole entire time I'm taking a nap, nobody know where I'm at. So the regular guards, like the officers, everybody's like, yo, where the supervisor at? And they all like on their post doing their job even more than they would be doing their job. if I was in the office and they knew where I was at. So shout out to that. Made people more productive by being less productive. Sometimes that's how the world works. When they say that they hate America, they're saying they hate the people. When the people say that they hate America, they're saying they hate the system. The problem is, the system that the Democratic voters are saying that they hate is the system that the actual Democrats have created. So, we have a group of people, let's say blacks, who are constantly upset at racism. And at the same time, they support the political party that is behind 100% of the racism historically in the country. And before you say, no, the Republicans, since when? The Republicans passed almost every civil rights legislation. Republicans voted on almost all of them unanimously. I think all of them unanimously. The Republican Party, okay, hold on. Because I know sometimes I be talking, and we have this thing where people know you telling the truth, and people know you know what you're talking about, but people want everyone else to hate you. So in order to do that, they have to then act like everything that you say is wrong, and you don't know what you're talking about, and he's always lying, and this and this and that. And that's why I'm trying to say, it's just exhausting for me to talk to people sometimes, because it seems like sometimes there's no stuff that they don't. And so that makes everybody upset and angry. It's exhausting. Anyway, sheesh. I spelled everything wrong. I was busy thinking about that other shit. I was talking part of my language. Thinking about that other thing I was talking about. Like, this don't be making any sense, yo. It's just exhausting for me to talk to people, yo. Anyway, the Republican Party was formed in 1854, primarily to oppose the expansion of slavery. It was primarily in 1854. It was primarily to oppose the expansion of slavery into new U.S. Western territories. It emerged from a coalition of anti-slavery activists, former Whigs, and free soldiers following the passage of the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which threatened to extend slavery northward. So, because you got to show people stuff. And then they're going to say, yeah, but the Democratic Party, they switched in the 70s. Let's see what they was doing in the 70s. What was it? Hold on. I'm going to show you two things. But first I want to show you the thing in the 70s. And show you what they was really fighting for in the 70s. It was the Planned Parenthood, right? I got the damn keyboard off to the side. That's why I'm typing crazy. I got two things I'm going to show you real quick. Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger. She's a known racist. 1816. Planned Parenthood. Women's suffrage movement. So when did the women's suffrage movement end? Oh, this is so interesting. Oh, interesting. Hold on, let's see what the women's suffrage movement was first for the people that don't know. The women's suffrage movement was a decade long, 1848 to 1920. A decade's long. I'm like, what in the hell? That's more than a decade. Anyway, the women's suffrage movement was a decades long, 1848 to 1920. Fight to win voting rights for women in the U.S. Officially ended with the ratification of the 19th Amendment, August 18th, 1920, led by activists like Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. The movement used protests, lobbying, and civil disobedience to achieve political equality. So, just so we can be clear, women's suffrage movement ends 1920. Why? Because they achieved the thing. But what didn't end? Those people and them fighting for shit. So, right before it ends, what is made? Right before it ends, Planned Parenthood, 1916. So, who came into our homes in 1970? Who came into the black homes in 1970 during the civil rights movement while the men were out marching and working? You got it. Planned Parenthood. Oh shit, I got the wrong screen up. Sorry about that. I switched back. Planned Parenthood. You got it. And for the people that didn't see the other one, women's suffrage movement ends 1920. Planned Parenthood starts 1916, right before the women's suffrage movement ended. It's all one movement. This whole thing y'all been fighting for is white women shit. No disrespect. I'm just saying, and I'm calling it what it is. Everything that y'all been fighting for the Democratic Party is white woman shit. Now, go and look and see who's out at the protests. Look on YouTube. Look on Instagram. Look on TikTok. Who the craziest? Why? Because it's their spirit that's leading this charge. Or the spirit that's on them. So this is what I'm talking about when people call everything racist. Y'all don't even see that's right in your face. Now, the thing that they're fighting for and doing, and why this whole thing is coming about and why it was created, was because they have been a part of this whole Democratic Party process. Who, since the beginning, was oppressing a certain people. But when an individual show you proof, y'all gonna be like, well, you gotta do your researches. Yeah, okay. There you go. All of the researches. Every last one of them's. What now? What did I say before Trump even got elected? I said, don't go out there protesting. I said, this ain't about what you think it's about. First of all, if they would have just let them go into the prisons and take out all of the criminals, the criminals in the first of all, ICE is after the terrorists. ICE is not after Joe Smo. ICE is not after the guy that's just washing cars. They're after the terrorists and the child traffickers. That's who they're actually after. But what's happening is, if I have a business over there and we got 10 migrants, illegals working there, 8 of them is just fine. They came in the country illegal, but they do their job. They go home. They paying some kind of taxes. They're pillars of the community. They good people. They building big families. They doing great things in their neighborhood and in their communities. But then you got the 2 that's there that's a part of all of the shenanigans. So now when ICE go to pick up those 2, guess what? They got to take everybody. So what did I tell y'all before Trump became president? I said, look, if y'all really care, them migrants, them illegals that you know is the criminals, you got to tell them they got to kick rocks. I said this. Why do you think there's only chaos in sanctuary cities? Because every other city is handing the illegals over in the prisons. And since they handing the illegals over at the prison, that means that they don't got to be in the streets but so much. 1 + 1 is 2. We have a lot of people who are legal immigrants here that had to wait 10 years, 15 years, spend thousands of dollars, be missing from their families. I don't think it's fair that people get the... I think that it's less fair to them than it is to me. Like, I got a beef with it, kinda. The only beef I have with it is the criminals, really, to be honest with you. But the people that are legal, the legal migrants that had to come and do all of that time, had to come and spend all that money, had to separate themselves from their family, had to go live in, I think like sometimes they got to go like live places for like a year or two before they could do anything. Yeah, them. I think this is more disrespectful to them. Because if y'all really cared, before y'all open up the floodgates, y'all would have rubber stamped every last one of those people. Every last one of them. You would have rubber stamped them. And then you would have opened up the floodgates. And then you would have had an argument. But as far as I'm concerned, you don't have a credible argument because you already had legal migrants here that you didn't rubber stamp. That you could have just said, all right, y'all already here. Stay here. Why didn't they get that treatment? Why they still paying all of this money? Why they still got to make appointments? Why they still got to take tests? And that's why the bleeding heart liberal logic don't work. Because it says we have to be sorry for those people at the expense of those people. And every time they choose another person to be sorry for, they have to choose another person for it to be at their expense. It doesn't work. These people that y'all are voting for, these Democratic elected officials, they're not for you. There are a lot, millions of good people who are Democrats that have to be looking at some of this stuff that's going on. Like, this is crazy. I know I have to kind of agree with it in public because, you know, hate Trump. I'll answer that question in 2 seconds, gang. I get it. It's just hate Trump. So you just choose Trump hate over everything. Game asks, what you rather hire an immigrant? First of all, just so we can be clear, you mean illegal, right? Just so we can be clear. I have no issue with hiring a legal immigrant. I've literally have done that. I've owned a couple of little small businesses throughout the course of my life. I've done a lot of things. And my father actually owned a moving and storage company for like years. Still owns one. And so, yeah, we've hired legal immigrants. We've hired illegal immigrants. We've hired people straight out of prison. Everybody gets the same wage. So I'm not thinking about hiring people as of who can I hire and cheat. So I don't think that question applies to me. You understand? If that makes any sense. I think sometimes when I tell people stuff don't like apply to me, I think they'd be like, but what if? But they don't know that I've actually already been in situations like that. And that wasn't a thought. Like that wasn't a thought. In any regard. I do want to say this. The hardest workers I've ever worked with in my life were Mexicans. It ain't close. It ain't close. I'm not saying that there's not harder workers. The hardest worker I've ever worked with was Mexican. With some Mexican dudes. It ain't close. And if you've ever seen me work, you know, I grew up with all brothers, so we see stuff like that like competition. So we see stuff like that like competition. So, you know, we'll be working and we'll be competing with each other at the same time. You know, see who the alpha is. Who could do the most work in the best way. You know what I'm saying? In any regard. A lot of testosterone. A lot of testosterone. That's all I can tell you. So yeah, that doesn't apply to me. The pay is the pay. I think that that's racist, by the way, to say I want to hire that somebody would prefer to hire any demographic because you could pay them less. Like, that's racist. And just so we could be clear, if companies generally did that as much as Democrats say that they did that, women would have more positions than they currently do, because apparently, you know, so if you can pay women less, women allegedly earn less in America than men, right? They say the pay gap, right? So if companies really were like, the bottom line is not to pay the worker, you would see more women workers if the pay gap is what it. So I'm just shooting down two different premises that actually don't exist at the same time. Just so we can be clear. The pay gap doesn't exist neither. But if the pay gap really was a thing, then companies would just hire women because they can pay them less than they pay men, correct? So you would see buildings with only a couple of men and a ton of women, right? So I think people, when they're hiring, often think about product, though. So I think that's also important. Not just how much they are or aren't going to pay there. Anybody that's opening up a business and that's your primary concern, I think that you should not be opening up a business. That's a good question, though, by the way. It was a good question. Back to just the Democrats' BS. Look, can we talk about Mamdani for a second? I want to say something about Mamdani. Okay, so I don't really be knowing. I don't really know that I'm going to be these. I don't really know how correct I'm going to be when I tell y'all things sometimes, just so we can be clear. I have a feeling about a thing, and then I say it. A lot of this has to do with just me understanding history. When I was in school, that was one of my best subjects, apparently, because history never changes. So I never have to worry about being told one thing is in the book, and then later on it's like, oh yeah, but it was matter perceptions. Nah, it's not. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that semantics BS. history is just history. So that was just one of my best classes in school, like through the entirety of me being in school, like from first grade to leaving public school, because I didn't take up any real history stuff in college. So first grade to public school. So I say all that to say, often what it is that I'm just recognizing patterns. That's what I think I'm doing. And so when I tell you that the socialist thing wasn't going to work, when I try to explain to y'all all of these things that Mamdani is promising ain't even possible, I had people telling me I didn't know what I was talking about and to go do my research. Even after I stood there and was explaining how it wasn't going to work. Let's take the raising taxes on the rich BS. I said, look, you got a couple of different issues with that. The first one is this. Rich people have money. You know, a rich person has a home in New York, and they declare New York as their home address. They got a home in New York, but they also got a home in LA somewhere, right? They also got a home in Florida, right? They also got a home in Texas, right? They also got a home probably somewhere in another country, right? They also got a do you get my point? So they don't even have to pack up the stuff in their home. All they have to do is write on a thing that they don't using that as they permanent address anymore, as the main address. That's it. They don't have to stop staying at the place. They don't have to. It's not like if somebody see them in New York, they be like, there they go. None of that is gonna happen. All they gotta do is go tell their lawyer, look, we're changing our main residence from here to here, and just to make it look good, let's ship some of our art down there or something like that, just to make it look good. You know what I'm saying? So just make it. We just spend a couple of $1,000s. It's gonna be much cheaper than staying. So why is this important for the people that don't understand how the economy works? So remember back when we first started the page, I used to always give you the analogy of you got two different towns. You got a town right here that they don't make any products themselves. They all work like in surrounding areas and in that town, right? But they don't really make anything themselves. Then you got another town over here, and they manufacture stuff over here. They make stuff over here. They build stuff over here. They got entertainment over here. So the people from this town now spend all their money in this area. Which town do you think is richer? The town that's spending or the town that's buying? Exactly. So that's what we have to pay attention to. We want to be the town that people are buying from, not the town that's spending. So when you raise the taxes and make all of the people that spend their money in the town leave the town, we go from being the town that people comes to that's spending to a town that is going out to spend. How come? The top 1% pays 49% of the taxes in New York City currently. Do you want to know why that number's interesting? Super interesting. When you have ownership over a company, you have to own 51%. Then everybody has to do what you want to do. You have majority ownership. That's another conversation for a different day. So, all of the rich people leave. That's 49% of our taxes. All of them are going to leave, but a big percentage of them leave. That's 49% of our taxes that's getting hit. So that plan was never going to work. There is no universe where that plan is going to work. It's not. And for the people that say, well, the rich people are greedy. Well, if you knew that the rich people were greedy, why would you even want to do this in the first place? So you knew this was going to fail and you voted for it? I need an explanation. So you knew it's going to fail because you knew the rich people were greedy. And if he did do this, that the rich people were going to move and therefore won't have to pay the taxes. You know all of this because the rich people are greedy. So why would you vote for this? Why would you vote for something that you knew was going to fail? Like, this is just, I don't understand. I'm going to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
Yeah, not a commercial break, but I needed a moment. So, and I want to be clear about this. Like, I think, and once again, I'm not talking about the voters. I think it's hard right now to criticize the Democratic Party because there's a lot of insane voters. Don't get it confused. But I'm not talking to the weirdos. There's nothing anybody could do for the weirdos. I'm not talking to them. If you are dyeing your hair, if you are cutting your hair off, apparently if you got a septum ring, there's no talking to you. I'm okay with that. If you one of the dudes that, I don't know, wears the dresses, not all of them no, but some of them, mostly the dresses and the colorful hair, then yeah, whatever. Because some of the dudes that wear the dresses, they not with the weirdos. It's complicated. I don't understand it either. You got to talk to their community. I don't get it. But apparently, not all people who are Democrats agree with the direction that their party is moving. And I think that needs to also be addressed. I think that needs to be addressed. Because, like I said before, I think that there's just a lot of people that are with the Democrats primarily because this is just what they know. And they've always grown up with the idea that the Republicans are racist. I mean, think about it like this. Every slavery movie and television that they show y'all, and they show y'all racist men, those are all Democrats. They show y'all people hanging black people. Those are all Democrats. They show slave masters. Those are all Democrats. They show lynchings. Those are all Democrats. And that's as early back as 1960, 1970. All Democrats. So I'm not saying that to say we have to hate Democrats. What I'm saying that is to say, understand what you're fighting for. These people don't want to put Americans first. Apparently, wanting to put Americans first is somehow racist. I need all of the explanations. Because when you talk to them about other countries and how other countries put their people first, they agree with what the other countries are doing. And some of the things that the other countries are doing are terrible. They'll be like, well, that's that country. But when it involves America, now America, they're being held to a standard that is not fair. And I guess that's why I feel away. Because I'm generally held to standards that are unfair. In my opinion. At least that's my belief. Like, I'm like always held to an unreachable standard. So no matter what I do, it's just always gonna never be enough. You understand? That just make more, just do less. I ain't gonna cap. You're like, it don't matter, right? No matter, whatever I do don't matter, right? So I'm gonna go do something else. I was not going to do a live at all today. I was sitting there and I was thinking, should I do a live? Right now I was thinking that somebody sent me a voicemail. I would like to play their voicemail, but I'm not. It was a DM on Instagram, but it was a voice message. And the voice message they sent was about, and I don't know if this was trolling or whatever. I'm gonna not take it like it was trolling or any kind of hate. I'm gonna take it as it was just something God wanted me to see. What God wanted me to see it in a moment. And they were basically talking about how they have video or something of them. No, they didn't say they have video, but they were volunteering at a local for them shelter. I don't know if it's in New York. I don't know where it's at. But they were volunteering at a local shelter. I'm going to assume it's in New York because of all the bad weather that we have here, or at least on the East Coast. I believe they're on the East Coast. And it's somebody that's been watching the page for a long time, been here for a long time. Probably a day one. And so that's why we're having a conversation today. And that's why I turned the chat back on. I know my perspective or perception of, like, I just have real low faith in human beings. Like, I have no faith that humans will do the right thing. And I don't like that about myself. That, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you. I wish it wasn't that, but it's like I have no faith. Like, just because I know all the times that I was wrong personally, you know? Like, I just have no faith that human beings will just do the right thing. You know they're going to vote in another Democratic mayor after this one, right? Who's going to screw everything up again. Who's going to make it worse. Because that's how it operates. A Democrat get elected and everything gets bad. And then as everything go bad, they blame it on the Republicans. And they say, no, it's the Republicans' fault. But it really was their policies. Like, how could you complain? How could the people complain in the city that the crime is out of control, and at the same time the mayor say, I'm gonna defund the police? Like, I don't think people understand how insane that is. So we have actual terrorists in America right now. Actual. Who you think was coming through the borders? Not just, this is why I say get rid of the illegals. Not just in the criminal illegals specifically. Get rid of them first. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, we can get to the suspected terrorists, that haven't been caught. Because, how many terrorists most likely came through those open borders? You know how many people we be trying to keep out of the country because they're gonna do stuff? And I'm gonna say something. Y'all think all of these truckers just smashing into people, you think all of those is by accident? I'm starting to not think that's an accident. I'm starting to think that that's by design. There's a lot of illegal truckers that are making traffic infractions that they wouldn't do in their country. Just doing insane shit, like trying to pull a Yui with a tractor trailer on a highway. Imagine that. Yo, I'm gonna bust a Yui right here. Whole tractor trailer on the highway where cars are going, where the speed limit is 65. 65, 70. They busting a Yui. I don't think this is all by accident. I think people were just so. I think especially in our communities, I think people want to believe the Democrats so badly that there's just individuals who fought for the Democratic way and now they feel like there's no going back. They just have to be on the Democratic side no matter what the Democrats do. But that's how Satan work. I'm going to say something real quick. I want to talk about the Epstein files. I'm going to give you 2 seconds. I'm about to say something absolutely horrible and terrible. I just want y'all to know. But there was a video. I'm going to tell you about more than one video, but there was a video of them interviewing one of the little girls. And basically what the people would do was, when they had the babies that they were going to unalive, they didn't just only unalive them. They have the other little kids all come in and stab the baby and kill the baby with them. So, this is crazy because how are the news not talking about this? Like, how is CNN not talking about this? This is the issue that I have with you just hate Trump and nothing else is important. Only thing that's important is hating Trump. This is the issue I got with you people. The little girl that was explaining it like a kid would talk about unwrapping candy and eating it on Halloween. No regard. And you know why they do this, right? Because now by the time that little kid reaches, if they're allowed to, reach teenage years, adulthood, now you can't go nowhere. Because you've been wrong for so long, God will never allow for you to come back down. And that's what they tell you. And that's how people feel about the Democratic Party. They've been a part of the Democratic Party for so long. There's so many agendas that they fought for that now were bad ideas. How? We fought for that. We won that. That couldn't have been a bad idea, but it was. So, pride isn't a sin. You know what is a sin, though? Too much pride. I'm going to say that again. The sin is having too much pride, being prideful, full of pride. That's the sin. Not having pride, not being proud. But relying and believing in yourself over believing and relying on God. God first. You have to allow for yourselves to just admit that the Democratic Party isn't what you thought it was and allow for the healing to happen. This is not one of those situations where it's contained inside of you. The way you vote affects your community, your directly, and if it's a national election, the nation. We had a dude get kicked out of the State of the Union in like the first 15 minutes. We can't be adults. Everything's a show. We gotta put on a big show all the time. We have to do something to try to trigger people's emotions so they don't use their logic. We have to figure out a way to emotionally manipulate people so they don't pay attention to how stupid the things that we want to do is. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Trump said they're stealing black jobs. They're taking black jobs. The illegals. The Democrats told y'all he's racist. What's a black job? Ha ha ha. Last I checked, it was the presidency. All types of stuff like that, right? Then we find out in California that there's thousands, tens of thousands of illegal truck drivers in America. Guess who those jobs would have went to? A lot of black people. Not all, but a lot. Well-paying jobs. Now, why do I find this as a situation that I want to discuss? So I had a friend. He's a truck driver. And I remember him talking about how all the illegals is getting all of the good routes. And him and his black friends were getting laid off. I remember this. Or they were losing routes. That's a better way to put it. So, hold on. I got a little bit more to add to add context to this. Y'all know what a H-1B visa is, right? That's a visa that you give to somebody that's from another country to come into America and then they work. That's a work visa, basically, right? You just got the visa because whatever it is that you do, that you're going to come over here to do, we don't have enough people over here that do it. So we need those people to come over here to do those specific jobs because literally we don't have enough. Allegedly, we don't have people in America that could do this job because maybe the technology was created over there or the technique or whatever the hell it was created over there. And so this specific country just has a lot of people who know how to do this thing. So we're going to give them H-1B visas to come over here to do this thing that don't nobody in America really know how to do. So we wouldn't be able to open up a manufacturing plant, right? Why the Democrats is against that? But they're not against all of these people coming into the country that can taking jobs that anybody could do that currently lives in the country if you just know how to drive and navigate. Right? They're okay with those people coming into the country, but not the people that have a specific skill that people in our country really don't have much of. So hold on. Let's see how much crazier it is. So in Georgia, they were using the H-1B visas, and when I say they, I mean the Democrats, to import people from other countries to come work over here to do jobs that Americans could have done. See, in Texas, they're trying to import people for jobs they can't do. But in Georgia, they actually did import thousands of people to work in factories and do jobs that people here could have done. Democrats. So when they don't stand and say that they're for the American people, yeah, they're not. I don't know why people think that they're for Americans. The only people that should vote for them are illegals. Honestly. If you're not an illegal or the delusional white woman that's still fighting for the women's suffrage movement of the 1800s, then you shouldn't be voting Democrat. That's just my opinion. What y'all need to do is get rid of those Democrats up top. There's a ton of Democrats down low that don't agree with the stuff that is crazy. They just can't speak out against it because they'll be talking against party lines, and then that's going to be the end of their career. But there are a ton of Democrats that's in the local areas that's not high, that don't agree with the shenanigans. They just can't speak out against. Imagine speaking out against, you want to get elected to a community board seat or some shit. I don't know. Some kind of community, whatever, right? It's not a bullshit seat. I'm just, I'm not thinking community board. I'm thinking, I forgot what you call those people. Council seat, right? Bullshit seat, right? It's not really a bullshit seat. I'm just using that word just to, be funny. But you want to get councilwomen, whatever seat. And you go to get elected. And your position is you don't want drag queens giving story time in schools. You might not get any teacher votes. Like, anyone that's a teacher might just vote against you. Because apparently schools love having men dressed up like women reading to your children in lingerie. Apparently. They love it. Like, that's like one of their favorite things to do. They rather do that than teach them arithmetic and reading. That's so important that they're taking the American flag out of the classrooms and putting up whatever the gay flag of the day is. That's so important that they spend time in class teaching children about allegedly how to have intercourse. There was a book, and this is a fact. The dude read it at one of the at a council meeting in Florida. There was a book that was telling little kids that when they get horny, which I don't even understand how that's happening to children. So, what the they can go and they don't know how to do it yet. they can go to an adult, and an adult could show them. And this was like in kindergarten class. And then they could go practice with their friends. The dude was reading it. They cut his mic off. They started getting ready to call the police on him. It was crazy. He was like, yo, if I can't read this book here, how is this book in the school? So imagine being a council person. And it comes up, do you agree with drag queens reading to children in schools in lingerie these type of books? And you don't agree with that, you're not going to get it. No teachers are going to, because like I said, I don't know why teachers think this is important, but they think that this is important. I don't get it. I don't get it. I would literally need for somebody, I don't even know if I want anybody to explain that to me, just so we could be honest. But I don't get it. I don't get this fascination with talking to children about adult happy time. I don't get it. In any regard, why everything the Democratic Party, the elected leadership, and the loony left, why every time they speak it's hate? So Ephesians 4:29, the Bible commands the use of kind, edifying words to build others up rather than tearing them down. Key verses include Ephesians. Because I know I be saying stuff, and I used to have a big problem of I'm speaking about things and I'm talking about them from the perspective of the Bible, and I'd have people come into my chat and start just hating, and then I have other people agreeing with them, and I'm trying to explain to them I'm literally bringing out something that's deeper than the conversation we're having. You do not know what you're agreeing with. And so that's why now I just decided I'll just start showing people what they're agreeing and disagreeing with. So Ephesians 4:29 instructs believers to avoid harmful, unwholesome speech, and instead use words that build up others, fit the occasion, and provide grace to listeners. It emphasizes intentional, constructive communication meant to encourage, comfort, and meet the specific needs of the hearer. So, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building up others according to their needs, that it may benefit those that listen. So, God wants us to use kind words. Look how your Democrats want y'all to talk. Look how the Democrats encourage their followers to talk, their supporters to talk, their voters to talk. They encourage them to do something directly contrasting what the Bible says to do. Again. And quite honestly, they're always doing that. And I've been saying it. And I guess I'll consistently point it out as often as possible. Well, nah, because then I'll never do nothing else, because they're just always contradicting themselves. But use kind words. Why do you think people yell hate at you when you're a good person? because they need for you to yell hate back so you could go against God the way they going against God. So when they hate at you and you don't yell hate back, they call you a sucker, you pussy, you a chump, you all this other shit, because they need for you to do that thing, because by doing that thing you're doing something God does not like. So what do you think these people that's going on in the internet and talking about unaliving people or all this other random insanity, how do you think God feels about them and what they're doing? God loves them, but how do you think God feels about what they're doing? Be mindful. Don't be lemmings, even though lemmings really is. Don't be pigs, because they went off the side of the cliffs when Jesus put the demons from the guy into the herd of the pigs. But you call a ton of pigs. You don't call them a herd. Whatever. the tons of pigs is. He put the demons in them. And they ran off the cliff. Be mindful, man. Sometimes people don't understand why I personally might be upset with them. They might be thinking I'm or disappointed or whatever. They might be thinking I'm upset or I'm disappointed based on their understanding. And their understanding might not be my understanding. My understanding might be, dang, you doing something right now that the Bible says I have to distance myself from. It's not me choosing to, because I might dislike you. I might, but I might not. It's me distancing myself from you because God, in my opinion, due to the information that I have about what the Bible is saying, is telling me to distance myself from these type of people. Be right back.
Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
Mind you, let me just add this before everybody start thinking crazy. Mind you, I'm not saying that I'm saying the person is a bad person or a good person. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying they might be doing something that in that movement might be moving me away from something that God wants to happen for me. A lot of times, and this is just my opinion, what I'm about to say right now, a lot of times, in my opinion, when God wants you to do something, specifically you, and there's individuals, people, energy, or whatever getting in the way of you doing that thing, sometimes God just wants you to pull back. That whatever that thing is that he might want you to do, maybe you do it later, maybe you never do it, but he doesn't want you around that energy, because that energy is taking away from something that he wants you to do. You understand what I'm saying? So be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we'll try to force something that's not supposed to happen in May, but is supposed to happen in October. You understand what I'm saying? It's not supposed to happen in 2001, but it's supposed to happen in 2003. You understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times we force things to happen and it's not time yet, even though it might feel that way. And that's just the way shit works sometimes. In any regard. Gotta be mindful. What time we got? How long we been up here? An hour, 20 minutes. I think that's about it for me. State of the Union. I just wanted to talk about that one point where these guys did not stand up. And I've been telling y'all, they're not for you. Y'all voting for a party that is not doing anything for you. They're doing everything for illegals right now. They're not doing anything for anyone else. All right? The Democratic Party is the women's suffrage movement party. Okay? That's why the people that's going the most bananas are white women. This isn't me shooting at white women either. I'm just saying, if it was black women that was going the most bananas, I'd say that. And people be like, we always talk about blacks was women's. No, the people that's going the most bananas is white women. Why? Because this is that spirit that got them going before. You understand what I'm saying? It's all the same spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same spirit. So when y'all fighting stupid hard for the Democrats, you're literally fighting for the women's suffrage movement. That's why they're always doing things for women specifically. And that's why they had to come for the black women in the 70s, because the white women weren't enough. They needed the black women also, because they needed somebody to be like, oh, woe is them. You understand what I'm saying? While actually not helping any, but giving you stuff to make you believe that you're benefiting. They told black women, we'll give you welfare. You don't have to be up under this man. But being up under that man is where you got all that love. That's where you built all those families. Now we're in 2026 and you got women that are now complaining about the men that we have out here, but y'all raised those men because y'all kicked the actual men out of the household. So these men that y'all complaining about were raised by women primarily. Us men that were raised by men, even if it wasn't that great of a man, us men that were raised by men, we are a how do you say, we have high value, because the ones that would the majority of us aren't even on the type of time that we're probably, I don't want to say it like that because I'm not shooting at nobody, but in my household, the level of masculinity was through the roof. And as you get older, you realize that you need a young boy to have through the roof masculinity. Because as he gets older, the world is going to chip away at him. And if all he has is emotions to rely on, it's going to eat him up. Being masculine is being able to take action without the presence of emotion. That's part of being masculine. I'm not going to allow for my emotions to dictate my behavior. Now, how are young boys going to learn that if they can't observe a man with those traits? When you send your kids to school now, even, not all of these male teachers, but a majority of these male teachers are what? Even the straight ones, pretty feminine. So where is young boys going to learn masculinity from? Because this is something that has to be observed. Some things can't be taught by being spoken. Some things you can't teach somebody by telling them. Some things, the only way a person can learn is by observing it over and over and over and over and over again. So if we want to have less death in our streets, we literally need more masculinity and less femininity in our brothers and our men. Because the way a man observes danger and the way a woman observes danger is different. A man will observe danger and take note of what's going on. A woman will observe danger and lose her mind. Also, that's why a lot of y'all is your woman starts yelling crazy, and when it's an argument that's nothing, it's because she's in danger of either getting caught or found out about something, or in danger of losing the little bit of power she might believe is in the relationship, or in danger of something, and that's why she's having those outbursts, in my opinion. And just so we can be clear, that's why it is important for a man to be soft with his wife. It's important for him to be soft with his wife. It's important for the wife to be able to confide in the husband, and vice versa. Those things are important. But when we treat each other like we're adversaries, when we treat each other like we're opponents, when we treat each other like I'm gonna do better than you, I'm not gonna let you do better than me, when we treat each other when we're not like we're not on the same team, it's not so easy to be soft towards one another. I used to date this chick named Shanine. Everybody thought she looked like Erykah Badu. I didn't, but everybody else did. But she had regular color eyes. She didn't have color eyes. Everybody else thought that. I didn't think that, but enough people said it that I don't know what to think now. I didn't see it. I wish I would have saw it. But she was pretty. And she had the easiest way about her when it came to me. I didn't know how to be a husband at that point in my life. I didn't know. I wish I did. She had the easiest way about me. It's just so easy, and it was just. No, I wish I knew how to be a husband back then. I didn't. I didn't. I barely knew how to be. I knew how to be a boyfriend, but I didn't know how to be a live-in, because we lived together. I didn't know how to be a live-in boyfriend. I didn't know how to cohabitate. No, I feel bad for a lot of these younger women, because me knowing how long it took for me to learn the things in order for me to be able to be a serviceable man, and then me knowing that it's not even like this in every country. It's just basically like this in America and a couple of other countries. And me knowing, factually knowing, because like me being at the age I am, I know what's out there in the world. Me factually knowing that these boys is not ready. These girls ain't ready, but these boys is not ready. And I think one of the things that's killing our community is this. When you go back to your grandparents, I bet you a lot of y'all grandparents had like 20-year age gaps. I promise you. And there was a reason for that. I promise you. A lot of y'all grandparents had like 20-year age gaps. 35 30-year age gaps. A lot of them, I promise you. And look, just go back. Just see, the issue is this. And this is another problem I got with the Democrats. It's like they rewrote history. See, I was alive in the 70s. I'm going to say that again. I was alive in the 70s. I personally know people with the criteria that I just explained. And when I say people, I don't mean like 3 or 4. I mean like literally like that was the thing. And I think that a lot of times you have 2 immature people in a relationship. What do you think is going to happen? And this is the wildest thing also. This is super funny. When I was a teenager, and I can't never get over this enough, right? And this is leading back to what I think the issue that we have is. This is the issue that I think we have. Let me just get back on the issue so you can understand what I'm saying. I think the issue is that we don't have enough families. Period. There's not enough families. There's not enough men being masculine around children. Not weirdo shit. Not, I don't know. I'm not fake masculine. Because there's a lot of fake masculine shit going on. Where people are really just being feminine. Like, all like, yeah, that's all that is feminine behavior, fam. Like, all that is feminine behavior. Like, it really is. You understand what I'm saying? Like, all that is feminine behavior. And one of the reasons why I think that we have such an influx of that is that even when we have the father at home nowadays, you have a 22-year-old man, a 22-year-old kid raising a child with whoever his girlfriend is or whatever the case is, but they're children. So they can't even instill masculinity into that child. He can't even instill masculinity into that child yet, because how much does he know about it? You understand? If that makes any sense. So not only do we have the problem of just households where there's one single parent who just might be a woman, but we also have the households that do have 2 people in the households, a boy, a male, and a female, and the male is just not exhibiting masculinity. He's at the age where he's doing everything the women say because he believes that that's what being a man is. Like, we really been teaching these kids that being a real man is doing whatever the women say. That's insanity. But that's what they've been teaching them. And every time you don't do what some woman says, she says, oh, once a woman questions my manhood in any way, shape, or form about me being a man, then our relationship cannot ever be the same. Because I take that like you're questioning my relationship with God. So our relationship can never be the same. Just never. I'm not mad at you. I don't want anything bad for you. Go out there and win. Don't get it confused. But our relationship can never be the same. There's not even a chance of it. But I think that's a problem and that's an issue. And I think these kids out here, they want, especially the young boys, they want masculine men in their life. They want to learn how to be a man. They want these things. You know? They want these things. Democrats is telling them it's bad. Just so we can be clear. You know, all masculinity is bad. Anything that a man leads is bad. Anything that a man is the head of is bad. That's the women's suffrage movement, fam. That's all that is. The Democratic Party is just a women's suffrage movement. That's all it is. That's it. If it's not just the women's suffrage movement, right, and they're for civil rights, right, I'm about to hit you on the head. How's an illegal? An illegal doesn't even afford civil rights. How's a civil rights party fighting for them? They're not supposed to be in the country. What's civil rights? Civilian rights? Civilian rights. How does an illegal get civilian rights? I need somebody to explain this to me. How does an illegal immigrant, somebody that's not supposed to be in the country, get the rights of a civilian? I need to know why people who are supposed to be fighting for the rights of civilians are fighting for the rights of people who are civilians of foreign nations. I want to know. And then when you ask just logical stuff like that, then they're gonna just start. First of all, the first thing they're gonna do is say Trump. That's just a number one thing that comes out of their mouth whenever they get caught in whatever malarkey they're a part of. Trump. That's it. That's what they're gonna come with. Trump. Trump this. Trump that. Okay, so what policies do y'all have to help America? We're going to undo everything Trump is doing. That's not a policy. That's not a policy. I get it. Because some people might not understand what a policy is. They might think that that's a policy. My policy is just to undo everything. That's not a policy. How is... That's not a policy. There's no parts of that is policy. There's zero parts of that. That is not a policy. So what are your policies? Oh, first we're going to open the borders. Okay, we don't want that. What else you got? We're going to allow for children. We don't want that. What else? Do you get it? They can't talk about their policies. Because everything they want to do is unpopular. Imagine the Democratic Party loving Gavin Newsom, but also agreeing that California is a shit place to live. I'm going to say this again. Imagine the Democratic Party loving Gavin Newsom. I'm talking about the voters. Loving Gavin Newsom, but also agreeing that California is a shit place to live. And basically due to his policies. And for all the people that's going to say the millionaires and billionaires aren't going to leave New York City because yada yada, it's New York. They did that. They left in California. Not only did the millionaires and billionaires leave, BP left. I think it was BP. Which Exxon, pardon me. Exxon left. A whole a whole industry, the petrol industry plant left. Everyone's leaving California. But y'all think Gavin Newsom policies is incredible. But the people that actually live there are leaving. But you can't tell the Democrats nothing. Because once you try to explain that, they're going to say hate Trump. So you can't talk about nothing ever. You can never have a conversation about nothing. This is not a war like y'all think it is. This is a spiritual war. This is a spiritual war. This is not what you think it is. Alright? America and all these other nations and all this other stuff is just instruments of the war. This is a spiritual war. Alright? This is the war for your soul, fam. Believe me when I say this. This is a war for your soul. And if you think that you could be on the side of little boys and little girls having men dressed up like women in lingerie, men dressed up in women's lingerie and makeup with they ding dang doodles hanging out, reading kid to kids. If you think that that's okay, then whoever makes it to heaven don't have to worry about seeing you there. And while you're in hell, you can talk to the person next to you about how you did everything else in life great. The fuck? Hope they okay outside. You did everything else in your life great. You was a pillar of your community. You was great at so many different things. You was such a good person, except you consistently voted for the Democratic Party, who pushed agendas that God hates. That caused suffering. To the innocent. And not only did you do that, but at one point, you did it primarily because you hated one person. Y'all do understand that even if Trump is guilty of all of these things that y'all are accusing him of, you still can't vote for people who want to be with little kids. You still can't vote for people who want to turn little boys into little girls. You still can't do that. They got y'all believing in picking the lesser of two evils. Then they go and make the one that actually the evil one look like the good guy. You want to know one of the most tiring things that I hear? This is another reason why I generally prefer not to talk politics to people. If you're a close friend of mine and I actually like you, I might mention politics every once in a while, but, I really don't really talk it. And the reason is, I found out that the Democrats really don't, the Democratic voters generally, they just repeat the stuff that's on CNN, and CNN is actively lying. They just repeat the stuff that they see on the news. So I can't even be mad at them. Because as far as they're concerned, they did research. I was watching the news. The news said that Trump did this. The news said that Trump did that. You should go do your research. Oh, wow. Okay, so I actually did do research, and it turns out the news is lying. Now what? No. You got to go do... While they did zero research. They researched nothing. And then when they get found out that the character or the person that they're going for is not the greatest, then they say, well, then both sides are bad. That's the cop-out. And that's what Satan wants you to do. You know what I do when you got to choose one evil or the other? I choose nothing. Yeah, I'm just going to choose nothing. I got a terrible habit, but it's built out of a loyalty that's in my heart, and it's just who I am. And that is, if you offer me something that I sincerely do not want, I won't take it. But it's not because I'm upset, angry, or anything like that. It's because if I take it, then somebody that actually want it can't have it. Isn't that selfish? I don't want it. If I take it, there's another person that actually does want it. Now they can't have it. That's selfish. Try to explain this to a girl one time. I don't think I did a good job. She's a cutie though. I'm fortunate. She's a cutie. But it just wasn't gonna work. She's a nice way about her. She was a cutie. I knew her for like a couple of years. About 5, 6 years maybe. We used to live next door to each other. She was a cutie. But I didn't want her. Primarily because I tried to scoop her and she shot me down. So I said, alright. Not a problem. I just operate different. I'm not gonna say a name or nothing like that because I'm about to say something else. She tried to pull up on me with her friend. Her friend was a cutie too, not for nothing. Little light skinned girl. She wasn't light skinned, she was brown skinned. Probably a little lighter than me, but not light skinned. She tried to pull up on me. I brought her friend over and shit like that. I was like, nah, I'm good, fam. I don't even get down like that, fam. I can't get down like that. So that's not even a thing. Just so we could be clear, like that's not even a thing. I can't get down like that. I can't be with two women at the same time because of what I believe in. So it's not even a thing. But the other girl was cute, but she didn't like. She was cute, but I wouldn't have slept with her anyway. Like I just wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? What I mean? Like she didn't have, like you know what I'm saying? Like she didn't. She was cute, but she probably was like just out of high school or something, and her curves ain't come in or something. She was cute, but I wouldn't have slept with that. You need curves. I don't care if I don't care if you're 30. You need curves. I don't know what to tell you. You need curves. You need some kind of curves. You need curves, man. I'm talking my stuff right now. So I was there was this chick, and I don't want to say too much. So basically, I like you need hips. Like hips is important to me. Like I like hips. Like hips is important, and being able to differentiate your hips from your waist is also important to me. Just so we can be clear, and like so that's important to me. That's like little stupid shit that probably nobody don't care about. Right? Right? Little stupid shit nobody probably don't care about. It's important to me. I like hips. Like waist. I like petite. I like short. I do like light skin. I do. That's a fact. I like people I could be quiet around. I want to be able to be. I want to be able to be quiet around you, like, and it don't feel weird. You know what I'm saying?
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Socrates, Mr. Create Change here, and I'm here to let you know what we're doing for 2026 with Create Worldwide Change. It's a fundraising clothing brand, so 50% of our proceeds support people in shelters and nonprofits. Basically, each merch, each piece is attached to a specific purpose. So basically, you see this Create Change hat that's floating around, it's going to be
I may post this on my page. Shout out to this. I may post this on my page. Maybe I'll start posting stuff again. I don't know. Somebody sent me that. Shout out to Socrates. I'm just not easy. I'm gonna tell you what it is. And this is why I look at niggas weird that got mad girlfriends. Sometimes chicks go crazy. And so when I see a dude that got like mad chicks and they arguing but they not really arguing or whatever, I look at you a little bit different. Like because I couldn't imagine. I've had a chick cut wires out of my computers. I've had a chick get ready to burn my clothes and not be cheating. I've had a chick get me fired from a job, not cheating. So, and this is me just with one chick, and whenever I'm not at work, I'm usually with that person because I'm a halo boyfriend. Like if I'm dating you, I want to be with you all the time. Like I'd prefer one. If you're one of those girlfriends one of them chicks that don't want to be with your man all the time, I'm not the guy for you. Just don't even bother me. Just you're wasting my time. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? Like I want to spend a lot of time with you. I want to do stuff with you. I want to just even if we're not talking or communicating, I want to be there to make sure you're safe. I want to everything's okay. I worry. Just be honest. I worry. I worry. I want a family type atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? If it's not a family type atmosphere, I might as well stay single. That's the way I see it. That's just my perspective. If it's not family, then what are we doing? That's just my perspective. In any regard. Talk about something. Yeah, family atmosphere. I'm not interested. Like I'm really not interested. I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound so stupid. It's gonna sound crazy. It's gonna sound bananas. I promise you it is. I don't even think I should say it because it's gonna sound bananas. I'm gonna say it. I've turned down more women for sex than I've been turned down. I'm not even sure if it's close. It might be, but it might not. And I'm gonna tell you the funniest thing. All a dude gotta do to get a woman is look like you got a woman. Once you look like you got a woman, women are gonna throw themselves at you because women want what other women got. So that's partly why I turned. Because I don't cheat. So that's partly, just so we could be clear. Now I'm seeing somebody right now. Like that's partly, but yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Not even. I don't think it's close, but it might be. I don't know. I don't really proposition women. Back in the 90s, you could walk up to a woman and try to get her number. In the early 2000s, you could walk up to a woman and try to get her number. You can't do that now. Like you just can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you just can't do that because a chick will send you all the signs. She'll send you all the signs, but she's just playing with you. You know what I'm saying? It's just a joke. You know what I'm saying? It's not serious. You know what I'm saying? So, they be on that type of time nowadays. Or the ones that are serious, she banging everybody. So you can hit, but you can't get a wife. So, and that's a waste of time for me. So, that's a waste of time for me. So, like nowadays, chicks want to date dudes that's unavailable anyway, so they can have more than one dude. You know what I'm saying? If she dating you and you only available 2 days out the week, I mean, she could date another nigga that he only available 2 days out the week. Dudes do the same thing. It is what it is. People do it in general. Dudes do the same thing. So people be weird. People be weird. Yeah, but definitely, I like light-skinned girls. I always thought I liked redheads. But there's a reason for that. Because I didn't know there was a difference between redheads and a different color hair. I don't want to say for a reason. Oh, sheesh. So I didn't know. I thought that was all the same color hair. But I was really talking about, I'm just going to say, I was really talking about the chestnut colored hair girls because redhead girls are too pale. I'm not really like the too paleness. Like I'm fine with the light skin, but the almost albino, I don't know. I'm not really there for that. You know what I'm saying? And then the red hair with the almost albino, it's like, I don't know, that's too much for me. Like, you know, it looks like you put on makeup all the time. And the prettiest girl I know, personally, I think she looks better with no makeup. Except for this one time that I saw her. Nobody knows who I'm talking to. Anyway. I'm saying positive things. Somebody's going to say I'm saying something negative. Anyway, this is a positive thing. Anyway, so the prettiest I've ever saw her with makeup. Because the prettiest I've ever seen her was when she does not have makeup. She's just absolutely just straight out of a dream. But the prettiest that I've seen her when she had makeup, like she had like a little bit of blush like right here and then a little bit of blush right there. She probably had other stuff going there, but that was like stood out to me, but it wasn't that much. It was like a little bit. I was like, subtlety matters. But yeah, so I had no idea. So apparently I like that type of chick. Also short. I used to date this chick. She was like 6'2". I wonder what would happen when I was in high school. I wonder what would have happened if we would have had kids. She was from the islands. She was like Caribbean or some shit. She's like 6'2". She used to model like in the Macy's magazines or some shit like that. You know, like the Macy's circulars and stuff like that. She used to model in those. Her parents was like, one of them was a doctor and the other one was like a nurse or something. She's like West Indian. She wanted it bad. She liked me a lot. She was like, I had to stop dealing with her because she kept talking about buying me a gun. She was like, yeah, I'm going to buy you a 25. So I'm like, bitch, you about to give me a gun that somebody else already committed a murder with, and y'all going to pin it on me. That's what I was thinking. I'm going to be honest with you. That's what I'm thinking. She might have just wanted to buy me a gun, though, because she West Indian. She from the Caribbean. Like, I don't know if she's like lived there her whole life, whatever. I don't know. Her family's from the Caribbean, and she lived in the part of the Bronx up there near what's that? Up there near Dyer Avenue. She lived around there. Yeah, she lived like around Dyer Avenue or whatever the case was. So yeah, so up there near Gun Hill Road, she lived around in that area. So I'm like. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy you a 25. She'll buy you a gun. I'm like, dude, she just got a gun that she's gonna give me? Is she trying to set me up? I was like, nah, this is not the type. I don't want these problems. I don't want none of I got enough weirdo stuff going on. I'm not introducing more this kind of I don't want these problems. Know what you want, man. Niggas don't be knowing what they want. There's somebody else would have dated her, then all of a sudden, next thing you find out her ex is some kind of big time. Her ex could have been a big time drug dealer. That's why she wanted to give me the gun, because she knew sooner or later they was gonna pull up on us. I don't know, man. I don't know. I was like in 11th grade, fam. I don't have this slide. I was like, wow, what grade was it? I was like in the 10th grade, maybe. I was like in 10th or 11th grade or something. I don't know, man. No, I was in 10th grade. 10th going into 11th. So that was, yeah. So it was 10th. I believe on. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she was fine though. She was like horrible. She was. We might have had the same complexion. She was tall. She was just fine. She was like long legs. Like she was just fine. Like she was fine. I want to say other things. I'm just not. But she was just fine. I scooped her by accident. I was trying to pick up the light-skinned girl. I'm about to get off here. Everybody, I want you to have. She was, we was in gym. And so, I'm going to tell you the whole story. So we in gym. And in Truman, they gave you these little tiny shorts, man. These shorts that you had to wear in gym. They was so fucking tiny, yo. So I didn't realize this until like years later. But they was standing there, and I'm trying to scoop the light-skinned girl. I like the light-skinned girl. She Puerto Rican. I'm trying to scoop her. And the whole time I'm trying to scoop her, the other girl trying to scoop me. Anyway, so I end up getting the dark-skinned girl number. But what I'm realizing now is them bitches was standing there looking at my Johnson the whole time. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, those were some small shorts. And so what happened is, after I got older, I still had them. And I had put them on. And I'm like, God dang it. And I'm like, I had no... And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, fam, like, this had to have been going on before. But I'm just thinking about it now. I just wasn't even thinking about this shit before. How are these shorts? How are they having all of... I was like, how are they having us running around in these things in school? What in the hell, fam? And then I start thinking about that day. I was like, them bitches are standing there looking at my Johnson the whole entire time. And then the first thing that came to my head is, I could have scooped the light skin one. The dark skin one was prettier though. I ain't gonna cap. Dark skin one was prettier. She was prettier by far. It wasn't close. It wasn't close. Way prettier. It was not close. The dark skin one was prettier. But the light skin one was wholesome. And so I would rather have the wholesome girl over the prettier girl. I covered family. I think family is important. I think a lot of my perspective on who I would prefer to date and not prefer to date just has a lot to deal with. I grew up seeing the dissolution, the dissolve, seeing the black family dissolve in front of my eyes. I grew up in a time where everybody's family was big. I don't know no other way to explain this to you. All of the black kids I knew, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3, it was rare to have a woman with 1 kid. It was rare. Like, it was not a thing. Most homes had 3, 4, 5 kids in them. It just was different. So I grew up seeing that 3, 4, 5 kids in every home, mother and father in almost every home. The homes that just had the single mother with just kids, that wasn't as prevalent as it is now. That was pretty rare. To now what we have. And then I look at the Spanish speaking people, and I still see a lot of them it's just family. And I think we need more of that in our community. And I'm not going to be the one to make it happen. It has to be a community group effort. But when I see, I'm not going to call nobody by name, but when I see some of the black people that I know around here, and I see them with their family, they got 2, 3 kids, and they with their husbands, and like, that's warming. Because we got to turn that around. Like, that shit got to go the other way. And then I'm tired of hearing people talk about, like, we have a lot of single black moms, and it's not always the woman's fault she's single, just and with kids, just so we can be clear. Let's stop doing that. It's not always the woman's fault. All right, a lot of stuff is involved that makes these things happen. But I believe the underlining result is a lack of masculinity in the households, and the belief that anything that goes against femininity is toxic. Like that, I think we need to get rid of that belief. Like, oh man, that doesn't encourage femininity in the boys. The boys need to be more feminine. Like how Obama said, all young boys need a gay friend growing up. What are you talking about, fam? Y'all love that guy. I don't get it. In any regard, I'm going to let y'all go. Everybody have a blessed day. Go out there into the world. Do something worth doing. And then stamp God's name on it. I'm out.
Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.